Well, I was raised on a farm working the land, and that was one thing that I always wanted to do, was own some land. One of my primary objectives was to get back settled in this area and buy some land. So it was just something I wanted to do. My wife and I started buying land in 1965 was the first land we bought. And matter of fact, if it hadn't been for her being willing to contribute her entire teaching salary toward the first purchase, I wouldn't have been able to have financed it. So she was instrumental in buying what land we bought and helping pay for it. Well, my primary objective is growing and selling timber. Commercial forestry is what I'd call it. And my secondary objective would be the wildlife habitat enhancement, to provide a place for me and my son and grandkids to hunt now and into the future. Well, as far as my treasure forest is made up of about 1,100 acres with about 200 acres of it in hardwood type and balance in pine. And the pine, most of it is in even age stands. I'm not opposed to clear cutting and planting. If you don't have the seed source there, then you ain't got no choice but clear cut and plant. And most of the stands that I have now, land that I bought that was cut over heavy when I bought it, and the only way I could put it in production was to clear cut it and spray it and plant it. Stands that I've regenerated in the past 10 years have been regenerated naturally from cutting in the fall of the year after good seed fall and letting it come back from seed in place. Some people are of the opinion that timberland is something that you cut timber once every 10 years or so and you don't do nothing in between, you know, and you just cut some timber and then walk off and leave it and come back 10 years later and try to cut some more. But I manage my timberland as it's a crop, and I'm working in it virtually all the time, not on the same stand, but somewhere on the property there's something going on. I just believe you ought to make every acre you got produce the maximum that it can produce for either wildlife or timber, or, you know. I don't believe in setting something aside and not doing nothing with it. Even in the SMZs, which a lot of people look at SMZ as a blue line area that you paint a line around and stay out of and don't do nothing to, but I try to do improvement cuttings in it, and primarily to improve the mass-bearing trees for game. I'm known in this area as being a firebug. I burn real often, and that gives you can see better as far as marking your timber, and your crew cutting the timber can see how to cut the timber a lot better. And it improves the wildlife habitat. You have a lot more legumes and herbaceous stuff growing that deer like to eat and feed for quail and rabbits and turkeys and such. But yeah, we have more game now than did to start with. I mean, the land that I bought from American Ken, they had clear cutted and planted most of it and hadn't done nothing with it, you know, since they planted it. And when I started burning and thinning, and that improved the habitat for game considerably, particularly deer and rabbit and quail and turkey too, to open it up some. Well, I started out, you know, with landowner tours. I've had 3 landowner tours, you know, for going through and looking at what I've done and talking about, you know, the different practices and putting in plots in different age timber stands and going over the volume and value and what it grew per acre per year, and to impress upon people that you can make money growing timber. And I started several years ago with a classroom in the forest, and I think we've had the 5th grade in from schools in South in the county for 3 years for the classroom in the forest. And I've had FFA and 4-H forest judging teams to come down. I'd help them with compass and pacing and tree identification and tree measurement. And yeah, I could sell what land we got and we could travel all over the world, you know, but that doesn't appeal to me, you know. So buying land to hold it and then sell it and make get a big pile of money for it, it would never have been my objective. You know, if I could have been the chief of the U.S. Forest Service and never owned an acre of land, I wouldn't have felt successful.